The Moss Method for Greek, Lesson 1, A Troublesome Boy. For the first 3 readings, we will focus closely on pronunciation and syllabification. This is in addition to the auxiliary exercises that are provided in the course. In order to syllabify and pronounce Greek properly, one must have a clear knowledge of the vowels and consonants. So then to review, there are 17 consonants and there are 7 vowels altogether. Thus there are 24 letters in the Greek alphabet. The vowels in alphabetical order are alpha, epsilon, eta, iota, omicron, upsilon, and omega. Of these 7 vowels, there are 2 which are always short in quantity, the epsilon and the omicron, and there are 2 which are always long, namely the eta and the omega. What this means for the pronunciation of Greek will become clear in time. In addition to the 17 consonants and the 7 vowels, there are a number of diphthongs. In fact, there are 8 altogether. A diphthong, as the word indicates, means 2 vowels, di, that are pronounced as a single sound, phthong, a diphthongus. These 8 diphthongs all end in a iota or an upsilon. This is because the iota and the upsilon are actually glides or semi-vowels. That is, they split the difference between vowel and consonant, you might say. So then, keeping in mind that every diphthong terminates in a iota or upsilon, let's go through the reading now and circle every diphthong that we encounter. The first is pi, here, alpha iota, making a single sound. Dion, however, coming next, because its combination is iota omicron, this does not constitute a diphthong. So we have pi, we have chi, au and auton, ku and nous in kufanus, we have bi and ne in anabaine, oi in the word oikion, kai again, hu in the word huto, tus, chao, tu, lus, and be. In addition, in the word lupe, we have the diphthong pe, we have lu in kalumen, and that's the last one in this reading. When it comes to the process of syllabification, we must remember this simple rule. A Greek word has as many syllables as it has vowels and diphthongs. Therefore, if the word has 2 vowels, as echo does, epsilon and omega, then it has 2 syllables. If a Greek word has 1 vowel, like ha, then it has 1 syllable. If it has 2 vowels, as here, iota, omega, philo, then it has 2 syllables. Paideon, however, if one looks closely, has 4 syllables. Alpha, iota, iota, omicron. As we have seen, though, 2 of these vowels constitute a diphthong, and therefore this particular word has only 3 syllables, paideon. Greek words, as much as possible, want to follow the pattern of consonant-vowel, 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 where C stands for consonant and V for vowel. They are not able to do that, of course, if they begin themselves with a vowel, like here, and in a number of other instances, auton, epi, etc. But the general pattern, nevertheless, is consonant-vowel. When we syllabify, we place a vertical line between syllables. So let's do that now. We have cho, pi, de, on, ha, fi, lo, kai, sta, fa, non, ka, lo, au, ton. Ha, de, ku, fa, nous, stin, na, by, ne. Gar, pi, tain, oi, ki, on, pi, ton, hip, pon, kai, hu, to, tus, how, tu, fi, lus, fa, be. Paul, la, kis, lu, pe, tain, mi, cron, a, del, fein, ka, lu, men, tain, a, del, fein, he, le, nain, like so. The Greek language also has a set of markings called diacriticals. These include breathing marks, accents, and punctuation. A full explanation of accents is found on Greek Quick Sheet number 4, and eventually in the course you will be learning and memorizing all the rules of accentuation very thoroughly. At this point, we're only going to introduce breathing marks and touch on the question of accents. First, then, the question of breathing. There is what's called a smooth breathing like so, and a rough breathing. The smooth breathing has always gone by its Latin name, spiritus, which means breathing, and lenus, which means smooth. So the smooth breathing is referred to as spiritus lenus. Then there is the rough breathing like so, which goes by its Latin name, spiritus asper, meaning breathing that is rough. It's an aspiration. Now, if a word begins with a vowel or with a rho, any word that begins with vowel or with rho, this could be a lowercase rho, a minuscule rho, like so, or it could be a majuscule, an uppercase rho, which is written like this. If the word begins with a vowel or rho, it must have either the smooth breathing, spiritus lenus, or the rough breathing, spiritus asper. Let's look at each word in this passage and find out whether it has a spiritus asper or a spiritus lenus if it begins with a vowel or a rho. So the first one here is echo. Notice that this one has the lenus. It might be a little bit difficult to see. We can blow it up later. And so thus it is pronounced echo. This letter, the omicron, has instead a spiritus asper. And so this is given an aspiration. It is pronounced ha, as though it were spelled in English ho. We come next to auton. Notice the aspiration, the diacritical mark, always goes on the second of the two letters in a diphthong. This is a spiritus lenus, and so it's pronounced au, not how. Here we have ha, asper, so ha, and here we have an epsilon with a spiritus lenus, a smooth breathing, once again, and so it's stin and not hestin. Then we have ana, bine, lenus, p, lenus, oi, kion. Notice the diacritical on the second letter of the diphthong, spiritus lenus, lenus, epi, lenus, huto, asper, with a rough breathing mark like so, as well as an accent, over the second letter of the diphthong. How, to, as well as adelphain and adelphain, these two showing the lenus or smooth. As I mentioned before, the Greek language also has three accents, the acute, the grave, and the circumflex. These look like this. The acute goes up to the right, the grave down to the right, and the circumflex goes up and then down. Some texts will write a circumflex in a way that looks like a tilde, like so. But this one is called the Porsonic circumflex, named after Richard Porson, the English classicist, who developed this version of the circumflex. Now, originally, these were not stress, these were not accentuation, these were tonal indications. Thus, some of the best books say that the acute indicated a rise of a third in pitch, the grave, the descent of a third, 3 steps, and the circumflex was up a third or a fifth, and then back down to the original starting point. There are some Greek teachers and speakers who seek to imitate this tonality as though it were Mandarin or Finnish or something like that. Most Greek speakers and teachers use the accents as stress, what is called ictus, adding stress or accent. In accented languages like Spanish or English has accent, although the accents are not written. Because this tonality is either difficult or impossible to imitate, my own pronunciation goes based on stress. So I say ko, pi, di, on, ha, philo, kai, stephanon, kalo, auton, ha, de, kufanus, estin, etc. If you want to try pronouncing these words in a tonal fashion, you can find various scholars online and amateurs who are seeking to do that, and you can speak that way if you wish. Consistency really is what I think is best to strive for when pronouncing Greek. And so although my pronunciation is by no means perfect, I do believe it is highly consistent. And if you imitate my pronunciation, you will achieve a highly consistent and conventional, meaning accepted at all colleges and universities, pronunciation. One final word about accents before we proceed to the reading itself. The accent is always placed on one of the three final syllables, counting from the right. And these syllables have names. They are called, first of all, the ultima, the last syllable, or the syllaba ultima, the penult, or the syllable penultima, the one before the last one, and finally the antepenult, or antepenultima syllaba, which means the one before the last one. So you will hear me refer to these frequently, consistently, as antepenult, penult, and ultima. And an understanding of these final syllables will shape our understanding of the proper syllabification and pronunciation of the Greek language. If a word has more than 3 syllables, then obviously it is pronounced, and it's an important word like anabaine, but accentuation is only counted by the last 3 syllables. In other words, there cannot be an accent further back than the antepenult. And there are rules which govern these accents, which again I will explain later on. But for now, you should familiarize yourself with this terminology: ultima, penult, and antepenult. So now let's begin to examine the passage itself. You are encouraged, of course, to finish the accompanying supplemental exercises for syllabification, formation of the letters, and pronunciation. So we have here, echo paideon ha philo. I have a child whom I love. We start out here with the verb echo. Verbs are always listed in their most basic form, the seminal form, which is the infinitive, echein. We may as well learn right now that the infinitive is not a verb at all, but a verbal noun. It is a noun, and it functions as such, as an object, as a subject, and so forth. This particular verb, echein, has on it the first person singular ending. This is known as a primary active ending, primary active, which is found on the top of Quick Sheet 1, Greek Quick Sheet number 1. You'll want to look there, and we will spend a great deal of time learning the 6 endings of the primary active. This one is the first person singular, as I've said. Let's spell them all out here briefly so you can see them. They are O, first person, eis, second person, a, third person, omen, first plural, ete, second plural, and ousi, third plural, which has a movable nu, whose meaning will be explained later. So you want to learn these very thoroughly. O, eis, a, omen, ete, ousi. You want to say them over and over till you have them down. O, eis, a, omen, ete, ousi. And then you want to practice saying them in the opposite order. Ousi, ete, omen, a, eis, o. And then you want to practice saying them from singular to plural, maintaining the same person. O, omen, eis, ete, a, ousi, like so. And then you want to try saying them the other direction. So, omen, o, ete, eis, ousi, a. Until you can do this with your eyes shut, forward, backward on any occasion, knowing them really well so that they are a part of your mental furniture. I have a boy, echo paideon, whom I love. Echo, first person singular ending, paideon is the object. Paideon gives us such English words as pedagogy, which means the act of teaching a child. Paideon is a neuter, singular, and accusative. These forms are also on Greek Quick Sheet 1 under the section for articles.